Good evening. I am Nethergoth. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about the beauty that is Hellraiser. Hellraiser is my second favorite horror franchise. I absolutely love this series. Now, we're going to be straight up to the point. I want to review the 2022 Hellraiser movie. And I'm going to be honest, it's really not that bad as people say. In fact, it is pretty damn good.
What is it?
It's a puzzle.
And it's almost finished.
Keep going.
So if I solve it, do I get a prize?
I do.
Now, yes, I love this franchise. The first 4 Hellraiser movies are absolute perfection. I love these movies. The second being my all-time favorite. It's absolutely crazy. Now, let's not kid ourselves. Hellraisers 5, 6, 7, and 8 are garbage, okay? Can we all just admit how trash these movies are? Even Doug Bradley cannot save these movies. They're just terrible. Like, I don't even want to talk about Deader or Hellworld. It's so bad. It's so bad. I liked Judgment. I have no interest in this revival reboot that they did after that or before that. I don't even remember. But Hellraiser 2022, even though it has issues, I really loved it. I would probably place it in the middle after 1, 2, 3, and 4, but way before all the garbage. It really was pretty good. Now, let's talk about some of the things that I absolutely loved before I give some of my criticism about the things that I hated. I want to warn you all, this is gonna be a review that is heavy on spoilers because I want to mention very specific things that happen in this movie. I want to talk about the good stuff, but I also want to mention the bad stuff. But let's start with the good stuff. I liked the atmosphere of this movie. The atmosphere was on point. I absolutely loved it also how this movie from beginning to end focused on the lament configuration. It was part of the entire movie. The whole movie was about this. The thing I hate about Hellraiser 5, 6, 7, and 8 is they have almost nothing to do with Hellraiser itself apart from Pinhead showing up at the end. And it's just not good. So I really love it how this whole movie focused on Pinhead and the Cenobites and the Hell World and the lament configuration and the goals were related to it, and I love that.
It has 6 sides, 6 configurations. It opens up and it cuts you. And then they come to collect.
I love some of the torture stuff in this movie. That's why you watch Hellraiser. I really like the chain effects, the darkness. Nothing felt cheesy. Some of the later Hellraiser movies made a lot of the stuff cheesy and fake and CGI, and I like it how real everything looked, how dark it felt, how on point the torture was. I love the fact that they kept the sacrilegious stuff in the movie. The conversation with Pinhead and Nora, I think, about God.
What is it you pray for?
The crucifixion at the end of the movie, the sacrilegious stuff just had to be in there. And you're always afraid that people don't want to do that stuff in movies anymore. So I really like that as well. The second half of this movie was pure art. I loved everything about it. Now, I do have to transition this into the stuff that I hate. The first half of this movie was really bad. Not taking into account the incredible opening cutscene of this movie. Whereas if you know Hellraiser, you know what's going on. And just seeing it like happen in the background while the main character focuses on the configuration. I love that. That was so well done. However, the rest of this movie, 2 people get killed and you see nothing of it. It doesn't even happen off screen. These characters, you just don't see them anymore, even though you know what happened to them. And that was terrible. That was a terrible decision. If they would have shown more scenes with the Cenobites and Pinhead and these two characters, I probably would have ranked it maybe even third place among my favorite Hellraisers. I just felt they cheapened out and they wussed out on showing some of the stuff. Now, again, second half is incredible. They show everything. It is gory. It is brutal. You see a lot of the Cenobites and of Pinhead and conversations with everybody. I just felt there was no need to hold all that for the second half of the movie, not addressing it in the first half. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, Pinhead. I'm a big Doug Bradley fan, but even Doug Bradley could not save the last 4 Hellraiser movies, and that needs to be said, no matter how good Doug Bradley is. I like what Jamie Clayton did. I do love the way Pinhead looks. I love the way Pinhead looks. I just don't like the way Pinhead sounds. Doug Bradley had a very deep, imposing voice, and that alone felt scary and made him feel powerful. And what they did with Jamie Clayton's voice, it wasn't on the same level. It borderline made Pinhead feel like a background character. Like, it just wasn't scary, and I just didn't like that.
Oh God, please, God. Oh, Mother, what? Never know how to be my name.
What is it you pray for? What is it you pray for?
Salvation.
What it feel like? A joyful note without change, without end. Heaven. There's no music in that.
But I did love the design, unlike the design of the Cenobites. So the Cenobites in this movie felt like monsters, like creatures. And I don't like that, because Cenobites are tortured humans, tortured into this form. And the thing with, I'm gonna address her as a wire, because I think that's what she was supposed to be, wire, and this weird black suit looking thing with the big eyes and the claw hands. You couldn't even tell these were humans before. And that's a big problem I had. Just the general design of them. And whereas Pinhead still looked like Pinhead, these other Cenobites just didn't look like tortured humans. They looked like creatures, and I did not like that at all. Everything else in the movie, it's just... I know people are big fans of Doug Bradley. I'm a big fan of Doug Bradley, okay? I love the voice, but even that missing from this movie didn't make this movie less good. The main thing I really loved is the gradual transforming into the Hell World. Whenever somebody did a new configuration with the Lament configuration, every time there was a new configuration, slowly, as these characters were still walking in the real world, walls were shifting, things were becoming dark, like lights were coming out, and that was so beautiful. I love that. I like that way more than the quick switches the old movies do, and it just felt such a natural evolution of the world into the Hell World, and that's probably one of my favorite things that this movie did. Absolutely love that. Just the visuals were just on point. Now, one thing I didn't like, which was a big part of this movie, is the lore they added to the configuration. The Lament configuration was a box meant not necessarily to punish people, but to give people the pleasures of the delight of the world of the other realm. That's all it was about, really. The Cenobites served the Leviathan, and that's all it is. But this movie added this weird wishing genie lore where if you feed the cube enough, it transforms enough. At the end, the person holding the final configuration gets a magic wish. And I just thought that was a little bit stupid. It was a little bit silly. Even though the wishes were like an evil genie type thing where you don't really get what you wish for, it just I feel it made no sense. The beauty of the lament configuration used to be people were seeking it out for twisted reasons. The lament configuration was attracted to people that delved into a specific mindset. And this just made it that anybody can get a genie out of the bottle and wish. That's honestly my biggest problem with it. Doesn't change anything about the end result of this movie. Even taking into account the added lore, what they did with the Cenobites and the first half of this movie, I just really like this movie. And I'm placing it on probably 5th place among my favorite movies. It could have been higher on my list had they shown more in the first half, because the first half of this movie dragged on. There's unlovable characters. I feel, unlike the original main character, I feel you don't care about these people. You're just basically waiting for the suffering to begin. And that's a big problem. Just the first half dragged on, but the second half of this movie was so good. It was so good. And I did like how the new lore with the wishes, how they use it and how it played a part in the movie. That's why you couldn't really leave it out. I like everything they did with the Leviathan and just that final scene. That's the main thing I always like about Hellraiser. Why I like the second, third, and fourth movies is how you see how the Cenobites get made, and that final scene was absolutely brutal. It was perfect, and I love it how they implemented the sacrilegious aspect into that. So all in all, I feel people need to stop complaining about different pinheads. Yeah, I would have preferred Doug Bradley. He ain't there. We gotta deal with it. It doesn't remove anything of this movie. If you say you like Hellraiser and you make the claim that this movie was worse than Deader or Hellworld, I am sorry, but your opinion is dead to me then, because you can't do that. The movie, when it comes to the tone, the general atmosphere, the cruelty in it, the escalation, the way they use lament configuration and the Hellworld and the Leviathan and everything, it was really well done. It deserves the credit, and quite honestly, I'm hoping we're getting a sequel on this specific movie. I can't wait to see the new Cenobite, to see more of this pinhead, because even though you don't get Doug Bradley's voice, visually I still really like this pinhead. I like the conversations. I like how much we got to see of Pinhead in the second half. And I would like to see a better take on these Cenobites in the sequel. Let me know what you thought. What do you think of Hellraiser in general? Hellraiser is not for everybody, specifically because of how brutal it is and the deprivation behind the torture that it's really all about. Let me know what you all thought of that. I'm really curious. If you like this review, please subscribe to this channel. I'm a brand new channel. You will find metal related content, gothic related content, and more horror related content. Be it reactions to trailers, reviews of specific movies, or any general horror related content. There's going to be so much content here, from Halloween to haunted houses, visiting cemeteries and catacombs. You will find all this stuff here. Whether it's gothic fashion, anything you can think of that is steeped in darkness will be on this channel. So please subscribe and check out all my social media links in the video description as well. I want to thank you for watching this video, and please be kind to one another, even in the dark.